Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing this evening? It is currently about 6:15 p.m. I actually had started this vlog already, and I was just like a couple minutes in, and then Alex pulled in. So I was like, I'll be right back. Let me come right back. I'm gonna go inside and talk to Alex for a little bit, and then I'll be right back. And then I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna start the vlog over. I'm not gonna film for 2 or 3 minutes and then stop it and then come back. I know I've done it before, but anyway, I am having a little bit of a Diet Pepsi. Alex just got home from work and he is eating dinner. He picked up fried rice and Dan Dan noodles from P.F. Chang's. He called me when he was leaving work and he was like, I'm really hungry. And I said, okay. And I said, what are you gonna get? And he was like, well, I'm really thinking about fried rice. What do you think? And he goes, you want some fried rice? And at first I was like, yeah, that sounds really good. And then I was like, actually, I said, I'm not feeling really that hungry. And I couldn't figure it out. I was like, why are you not hungry? I always am like hungry, but then like whatever I get or whatever I make, like I'm not that hungry for, you know? Like I'll eat a little bit of it, and then but I don't eat that much. And so I think I have like, I counted, I have 6 or 7 Diet Pepsis left, and today I got a case of Diet Coke when I was with Caroline. But I was like, why am I not hungry today? And then I was like, oh, well, because you went to brunch with Caroline at 2 and it's 6 o'clock, so it's probably why you're not hungry. And I ate today at brunch. I haven't been eating that much when we've been going to brunch, but today I had the California Dreamer omelet, and then I had coffee. It was like Highlander grog. I think I had like a cup of that, and then I had a cup of like the Patachu, just like the regular blend. And then I had a cup of fruit, which I ate about half of that. I ate almost all of my omelet, and then I had half a bagel. I put cream cheese on the other half of the bagel. Caroline, like, I think she took like a bite of it. I think I took a bite of it, and then she took a bite of it, and then she was like, she didn't really want it. And I was full by that point. So, yeah, and I had also had a coffee from Starbucks. Caroline she actually got an Americano, an iced Americano today, which I thought was interesting. I was like, I said, I thought you were going to get a refresher. Why you got an Americano? I said, why'd you get an Americano or something like that? And she was like, I don't know, it just sounded good. She like drank it real quick too. I was like, I didn't even know that you liked coffee, because she is like on Thanksgiving, Christmas and stuff, like after dinner, she doesn't usually have like a cup of coffee, you know? It's usually like a glass of wine or something like that. She's like, oh no, she's like, I like coffee. I was like, okay. So she had iced Americano grande, and I had a grande, the new one, the iced apple oat milk, a shaken espresso or something like that. It's pretty good. Anyway, so the other thing is that Alex was getting fried rice from P.F. Chang's. P.F. Chang's is probably my least favorite Chinese food of life. Alex loves it. I mean, he loves it. And when we first started dating, we used to go there a lot. I just feel like he always gets the exact same thing. He always gets chicken fried rice, and then he gets beef Dan Dan noodles. And he like gets one and eats it tonight, and then he'll get the other one, or he'll save the other one for lunch or dinner tomorrow. He loves P.F. Chang's. He used to work at P.F. Chang's like years, like when he was in high school. I am not a huge P.F. Chang's person. I feel like it's not just because I'm a vegetarian, because even when I wasn't a vegetarian, we would go there. Like the lettuce wraps that everybody dies for, like I never thought they were, I didn't understand the whole thing about the lettuce wraps. I didn't think they were that great. I know there are people out there that love them. My cousin Caroline loves them. Love them if you love them, right? But I was never that thrown out with the lettuce wraps. I feel like P.F. Chang's is like very expensive for what you get. I don't think the food has like real great taste to it, and it just tastes rather plain to me for paying like all this money. I've always felt that way about it. Now, they had kind of like a smaller restaurant, which was kind of like, it wasn't fast food, but you would like run in, go through the line, order your food, then you could eat it there or take it out. It was kind of like a Panera Bread kind of P.F. Chang's, and it was called Payway. Now, we went there quite a bit. I thought it was supposedly the same food, or similar food, same company owned both of them, but it tasted better to me. There was something about it that tasted better to me. Like Chinese food, like my favorite is this place in Fishers called Mark Pies. I think it's like a national chain. I don't think it's anything local, but I think it's a franchise. there's something about their veggie fried rice that I just like love, and they have veggie spring rolls that are really, really good. I washed my Smith's t-shirt last night, so when I got up from my nap last night, I did a load of wash, and I was like, I'm gonna wear my light blue corduroy shorts and this shirt today. And so many people, like when I was out today, kept on commenting on my icon hat. They were like, you're an icon. Oh, I love your icon hat. Are you an icon? I mean, so many people said stuff to me about this hat today, which I think is so funny, because for years I wore these icon hats and nobody ever said anything to me. And a lot of people in videos have been commenting on it too. And I'm like, does this hat look so different than the other hats that I've worn? I mean, maybe it does. I actually bought a new hat today. I showed it in my, so I did a super haul on my Peter Does Stuff channel, because we didn't end up going and seeing our grandparents' graves. I'll get to this in a second, but it was kind of a miscommunication, and the video that I filmed that was 2 to 3 minutes long before Alex came home, I literally sneezed like 4 times in a row. The allergies are like itching my throat. I'm sneezing. My nose is running. My eyes are itchy. It's like allergies are out of control today. It's been bad, but right now it's like really, really bad. And the only way I can get my throat to stop itching is if I cough. Isn't that weird? Alex does this thing. I cannot do it. I don't know how to do it, but Alex does this thing where he's like, do you guys do that? And he like itches his throat. It does nothing for my throat. I have to cough. So anyway, I love Mark Pies. I kind of like just like local Chinese restaurants. I think that they have better, I think that they have better just like veggie fried rice and stuff like that. I don't know. Payway is just kind of like too fancy or something. I don't know. You know, the environment's real cute, I think, you know, to go there, but it's always real loud in there too. Like like loud spaces kind of like drive me nuts a little bit. I mean, if you're in a music festival or something that's loud, that's one thing, but like to be in a restaurant, like I kind of like ambiance in a restaurant when it's like quiet and kind of like low lit and stuff like that. I feel like it's extremely loud. Like when you're at P.F. Chang's, it's like you're in the middle of, you know, Times Square in New York City or something like that, but whatever. So he's inside. He said he didn't have anything to watch, so I don't know what he's watching. And he's eating his fried rice, and I said, do you care if I go outside and I vlog? And he was like, no, not at all. He's like, I'm going to eat this and I'm going to relax for a little bit. I'm going to vlog, and then I'm going to lay down because I am exhausted. I was exhausted yesterday, and I ended up taking a nap and laying down for like 2.5 hours. And when I woke up, I felt refreshed. And so I wanted to film a video last night for my drama channel because I knew that I was gonna, I thought I was gonna be, I did. I got home about 4 today. We left here about noon. She got here a little bit before noon, so about 5 till noon we left. And I knew that we were gonna be gone the better part of the day, and Caroline's like, oh, take Wednesdays off. And she's like, I didn't tell you to take every Wednesday off. I just told you to take the Wednesday off that we're gonna go see our grandparents' grave. So anyway, I probably could have like filmed a drama video today, but I wanted to have something to post today, so I filmed it last night. It was funny because I was like, Alex is like, are you really gonna film a video tonight? I was like, yeah, because I want to have something to post for tomorrow, and if I'm gone all day long, I won't, right? So filmed that video last night, posted it today. And then right when I got home from being gone with Caroline all day, I did a haul video, and then I did a review of pumpkin spice stuff that I got today at Target. So I did that video as well. And I've just kind of been uploading that, talking to my neighbors. I'd totally forgotten that there was this thing at the pool today. It started like an hour ago, and it's mocktails and cocktails. And I was so tired when I got home, and I was like uploading and making these videos and stuff, and like all the neighbors were like they're like, are you not gonna come? And I was like, I literally just got home and I'm trying to get this stuff done and whatever. And so it's like almost over now. I think I hear people coming back now anyway. It was only like an hour, so I couldn't make it up there. But anyway, yeah, I do hear people coming back now. I thought it was till like 8, and my neighbor's next door, like she's in charge of it because she's a social director, social chair director or something. I don't know what the title is, but anyway, when they were going up there, she said, are you gonna come up? And I said, yeah, I'm like, I just got home and I'm trying to get this stuff done. I said, but if I get it done in time, I was just gonna wait and vlog when I got back. And I said, then I'll head up there. For some reason, I thought Alex had a dinner tonight somewhere, and so I said, I'll head up there. And she said, yeah, sure. And I said, no, like I really will, because it's till 8, right? And she goes, no, it's just an hour. And I was like, oh, well then maybe I won't. I said, we'll see. But I like knew I probably wouldn't be able to, or I just wasn't gonna rush that much, you know what I mean? And I didn't feel like, to be honest with you, being like super social tonight. I'm just kind of like, ugh. So anyway, I got up last night, I filmed that video, uploaded it and all that kind of stuff, or started uploading it and stuff like that. I didn't post it till today. But then I was like doing some other stuff, talking on the phone, and then I ended up watching Only Murders in the Building. I can't remember what else. I was watching like YouTube videos for stuff to make videos on. Yeah, and all that stuff. And then didn't listen to my audiobook. Still did my prayers and meditations and all that kind of stuff. I mean, and I knew. The thing was, I was so tired yesterday that I really thought even if I took a nap for a couple hours, well, my plan was like if I slept through the night, I was just gonna sleep through the night like I had the night before. But I was like, if I get up, then I'll get up and I'll watch some shows. And I was gonna watch like a lot of the Fear of the Walking Dead and stuff, because I had to get up to get ready for Caroline today. This plane. Caroline keeps on noticing when she's like picking me up and we're around here. She's like, these planes fly so low. And then she said today, she's like, oh, this is. She said something about like FedEx, only planes that like don't have passengers are allowed to fly that low, and I think that's a FedEx plane. Because she mentioned FedEx, but I could be wrong, I don't know. So anyway, I knew that I had to like get up like between 10:30 and 11, which I know is not super early, but still I had to get up. So I was like, I can't stay up super late, and so I went to bed, and I literally tossed and turned all night long. Like, I mean, it was like 3 hours. I finally got up at one point. This is so funny, you guys. I got up at one point, and I like was real hungry, and so I was like, I need to have some kind of like treat or something before I go to bed, some kind of snack. And so I went downstairs and I was eating. I reviewed these yesterday and they were so good. I reviewed this carrot cake and strawberry shortcake. I also reviewed the chocolate cake one, but I'm gonna leave that for Alex because I didn't love it. And he likes chocolate cake, which he doesn't really like chocolate, but he likes chocolate cake. So anyway, and it has sprinkles in it. I don't eat sprinkles. So anyway, I like had both of them open and I was eating them, and I was like scrolling through looking at like these old drag pageants and stuff, and I came up on this one, and it was like this drag pageant, and it was in this city that I used to go to. I actually used to date somebody from there after I got sober, but I used to go there before, right? And I remember the bar and everything. It was like this pageant in this city. It was like the name of the city, like in this bar, and it was like with so-and-so, which was like one of my best friends back then that was a performer, right? She still is a performer in Nashville. And I was like, oh my God, this is so funny. And it was from like the spring that I got sober that winter. So it was like March, I think. It was like March or April of '94, and I got sober that year. And I was like, wouldn't this be so funny if I was like at this pageant? And so I started watching it, and I was like, this pageant is kind of vaguely familiar to me. Now mind you, okay, this is 29 years ago, 29 and a half years ago or something like that, right? And I'm like, this pageant, like there's something about this that I remember. Like, this just seems really weird to me. And it was so funny because like one of the things, I'm gonna start using this in my drama channel. Okay, this is cussing, so if you can't handle Peter cussing. But anyway, there was this thing that, I'm sure they still do it at drag shows, but like I just don't go to drag shows as much anymore. I don't even remember the last time I went to a drag show. But it was something that they used to do back in the day, like at every drag show that I would go to. The MC would always say, attitude check, and the whole crowd would go, fuck you. And they go, attitude check, and the whole crowd would go, fuck you. And I had totally forgotten about that, and they did this at this pageant. But there was something about the pageant, I couldn't put my finger on it. I was like, I feel like I was there. Like, I feel like I was at this pageant. And so I literally sat there. The video was like it was exactly like 30 minutes and 6 seconds long or something. I watched the whole thing, and like, I don't even remember how long. It was like when my friend was performing, and I'm like watching it, And she like comes back and she's getting these tips and she goes over there and she goes over there, which is so funny because like I knew she was from this town and she moved to Indianapolis, and that's why she was like performing there for this pageant as like a special guest. And so, and I used to go out of town with her to like Bloomington, Louisville, Nashville, all these places, right? And I was like this would totally make sense that I would have been there, right? Like, because me and my friends used to all like, we'd just all go together and then she'd get a free hotel room and we'd all stay in the free hotel room together, right? And so, like, I'm watching this pageant and it's like just showing, like, it's like from the same, it's just like showing the same scene, right? Of this like, this bar and like the stage, and she's just going up and down. And at one point, she goes over to like her right, and it starts panning these tables, and like the second table, I'm like, oh my god, I'm sitting at that table, and it's like me and 3 of my friends, and I'm like, oh my, I mean, literally I could see myself, and it was so weird to like see myself sitting there, legs crossed and everything, like at 22 years old. Like, it was so surreal. I mean, I rewound it like 4 times. I was like, oh my god, I was there. Like, this is me, like, on this. I was like, it was so weird. So anyway, that was my enjoyment late last night. But then I got, like, in my head, thinking about, like, all these people that I used to know, and all these people that I used to hang out with, and stuff like that, and where are they today, and what happened to them. I mean, like, literally when I got sober, I went out after that, but, like, between the time that I got sober and the time that I really started going back out again, which was like, I don't know, like 2 years or something. I mean, I would go out from time to time with sober friends, or like if I with people I was dating, this guy that I was dating and stuff like that, my roommate. But not very often did I. And so, and not at all at first. And it was very random, you know, within my first 2 years. Like, probably could count on one hand kind of thing. And then after that, I started going out a little bit more, like probably 2 or 3 years sober or something like that. Started going out on a more regular basis to the gay bars. Well, between the time that I had gotten sober and the time that I started coming back, like, people had moved. A lot of people had moved to Chicago and other, you know, Louisville and other places, you know, Texas, California, New York. I mean, people had moved all over, right? So half the people that I knew were gone. Several people had died of overdoses and AIDS and things like that. And, but mostly overdoses, which just broke my heart when I would hear about it, because I'd think, God, I got sober, and like, you know. And then a lot of people just didn't go out anymore because they had graduated from school, or they were in graduate school, graduated from, like, you know, college, and or they were now in graduate school, or they had, like, you know, real jobs, and, you know, and by that I mean, like, you know, 9 to 5s, or they were settled down and they were buying houses and stuff like that. So, like, the whole scene had totally changed, you know. I remember, I've said this in a video before, but I remember, like, one of my really good friends, he had moved to New York like 6 months before I got sober. It was so weird. I just saw him on Facebook the other day. He ended up, like, marrying somebody. Like, the age difference between he and his husband is, like, the same as me and Alex, but he married somebody, like, 12 years older. And, I remember when he moved to New York City, and, he came home while I was in treatment, and my friends were telling me that he came home and he had bought an apartment, and they were telling me, like, how expensive this apartment was, and it was really nice, and they'd seen pictures of it and all this kind of stuff, and that he was, like, working. So he had been a pastry chef, and he was, I mean, and I partied with this guy, like, a lot, and that, I mean, he was never as bad as I was, but, you know, I mean, he went out and had fun and stuff like that. Really nice guy, and that he had been a pastry chef here in Indianapolis, and he had gone to New York, and he was working for, like, Bon Appetit magazine, like setting up the things to be photographed. I mean, he had really made it. And I was like, I can remember when they told me that, and I shared this on here before, but I was like, literally the party stopped and nobody told me. Like, that was how I felt. Like, and then, you know, flash forward 2 to 3 years, like, everybody had gone their separate ways, and it wasn't the same scene anymore, except for, like, maybe, oh, here's people coming back from the cocktails and mocktails, except for maybe, you know, like, 5, 10 people that were kind of hanger-ons, and then they ended up, because, like, when I first got sober, like, you know, crystal meth wasn't, like, that big of a thing, but then, did y'all have fun? Next time. It would have been more fun with me? Oh, well, I'll come next time. I thought it was going to run longer. I have the best neighbors in the entire world, I really do. But you know, when I got sober, like, people used crystal meth, but it wasn't like a huge thing. When I started going back out again, so I got sober in 94 going into 95, so let's say this is 98, right? When I'm going back out actively again, like it had taken over the gay community. Like literally, crystal meth had taken over the gay community. And, you know, everybody called it Tina and stuff like that. And I was blown away. I think partly because, like, when I was using, you know, back before I got sober, I mean, we drank a lot, we ate pills, we smoked a lot of weed, and we used a lot of cocaine. I used more than anybody, but we kind of, I mean, it wasn't like it wasn't around. It was around, but we kind of, like, thought it was kind of dirty. And then all of a sudden, it was kind of like a country drug. It was kind of dirty, you know, like, and then not a lot of people used it and whatever. I mean, it was kind of, I don't know, it just, and I didn't come into a lot of opportunities to use it, and it was never really offered to me and stuff like that. And then, you know, I'm going out again, and it's just like rampant, you know, and oh, where's this person? Oh, well, did you not know that they're like hooked on this stuff and all this kind of stuff? I'll never forget, I went on this date between my first long-term boyfriend when I got sober and my ex, my second long-term boyfriend. And I went on this date with this guy, and he was probably 10 years. If I was like, well, hold on a second. How old would I have been? So if I was like 27 at the time, if I was like 27 at the time, he probably was a good 10 years older than me at least. Really good looking older guy, really built and stuff like that. Super hot, kind of short. It's so funny because my best friend and I, later, like, I went on like a date with him. This is like probably too much information, but this guy wanted to hook up with me so bad. And there was just something about him, I just couldn't figure it out. Like, after like I got to know him a little bit, I was kind of like, I don't know. But it was so funny because later my friend and I were talking. My friend like moved back here to go to medical school and stuff, and like he had like gone on a date, and he got like weird vibes about him too, and like didn't hook up with him. We both, and neither one of us knew that we knew him. Like, and like this was one of my best friends, you know. This was the guy that we went on the date with, and then we decided that it was better that we were friends. What is it inside this? It looks. I was just showing Alex all my new purchases, but anyway, really nice guy. But I remember, we went out to dinner. He like invited me on a date. Like, I was very much about that when I got sober. I wasn't about the one night stands anymore. I'm not gonna say I never had them, because I did. You know, when I got sober, I still did, but not very often at all. I don't know. Like, you know, I think drinking and using, either I was too far gone that I couldn't like hook up for a one night stand when I was using, or it like allowed me to not really care and just do whatever, you know? But what's crazy about it is when I look back, like, my number's not big. Like, I mean, I have my fair share of one night stands, but not anything compared to like a lot of people that I know, and I'm not shaming them. It is whatever, you know? But like, when I look back on it, it's really because I was like passed out, or, you know, like nobody really wanted to mess with me because I was so messy and drunk and wasted on drugs and stuff like that. So when I got sober, and like I said, I mean, in all honesty, if I went out and like somebody was hitting on me and they were real good looking and they weren't wasted drunk, then like, yeah, that was like a different story. So I had a few. I wouldn't say, I mean, again, like, between each relationship that I had, you could probably total it and it would add up on one hand, if even that, honestly. And so my attitude was kind of like, if you like me enough to want to hook up with me, then take my number, call me, and ask me out on a date. That's kind of how I always was about it, right? I ended up asking my ex out. I never asked anybody out. I was always like too scared, too socially awkward to ask anybody out. So people always ask me out. But I was like, if you like me enough, like, call me tomorrow when we're not standing in a bar and you just want to like hook up for the night. Like, I'm not saying I won't want to hook up with you, but just like, okay, like we can go out to dinner and have a conversation, you know, and things like that, and get to know each other. And usually within like 5 minutes of being on a date with somebody, like I've always said this, it's so weird because like with Alex was totally like not what I mean, the age difference and just the cultural difference and just we were at 2 different places in our life, and I thought he was super cute and all that kind of stuff, but I thought, like, this is not anybody that I want to be in a relationship with. Like, you know, he's wanting to move here and move there. He's wanting to do this and do that. You know, he's like, you know, I just was like, this is not anything. And before that, I would tell all my friends, I can go on a date and within 5 minutes of a day know if I'm like wasting my time or I want to spend the rest of my life with somebody. And I'll never forget, like, Alex, so I picked him up at his girlfriend's house that lived downtown, and he came out of her condo. Like, she had like a 3-story building. She had the whole, like, it was like each floor was it was amazing condo. Each floor was like a condo of itself. And so I think this music is probably going to, I think this music might stop the, like YouTube might copyright it. So I'm going to stop this for a second. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. That was really quick. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, so Alex, I've shared this story a million times, but like Alex walked in, like out of his friend's condo in front of my car, and he like did this cute little wave like this. I'll never forget, he had like this blue like polo shirt on, and he was like, and I was like, oh my God. Like we had seen each other, like I had seen him out at a bar, found him on MySpace, sent him a message, so I had seen him in person. And from the time that I originally asked him out in April, this was August, like I had seen him out a lot. We had seen each other, run into each other. He had told me originally that he was still interested in his ex, and so I just backed off. When he eventually reached out to me in August and was like, are you gonna still take me out on that day? I was like thinking about moving to Colorado. My mom had since passed. Like, you know, when I first met him, my mom had not passed away. I didn't really feel like I had a whole lot here keeping me in Indianapolis besides my dad, my stepmom, and Tanya. My dad and my stepmom were like encouraging me, like, go wherever you want to go. It's your life. And so really, like, Tanya and like all that was like the only thing that was really keeping me around here, you know? And so I have a really good friend of mine that lives in Denver, that lives in what's it called? Such a cute area of Denver. But anyway, Cherry Hill, or what's that place called? Cherry something. It's like right down from the mall. It's really cute. Anyway, I had gone out there that whole summer and visited him, and so I thought, well, I'm going to move out here. I had already picked the place that I was going to move and everything. There was this area of Denver called Lodo that I loved. I think it's called Lodo, but it was like these big like warehouse condos and stuff like that. It was really cute. I loved Denver. I thought it was such like a great mix of people, and people were so like just open-minded, and you know, everybody that you would meet would like, they'd be like, oh, like my parents have like a house in the mountains, and so people go skiing on the weekends, and you know, and just everybody was so friendly out there, and I just felt like everybody was like the same age as me, you know, like mid-30s, and just like, you know, restarting life and doing things. I don't know, it's just like it was a really positive vibe. Like I love Denver. I think Denver has a really positive vibe to it, and so I was like, I'm moving out there. I was sure of it. And so when Alex reached out to me, he was like, are you still going to take me out on that date? Well, I had asked him out in April. This was April to May, May to June, June to July. I mean, this is 4 months later, right? Count that on your fingers, Peter. And I was like, I responded to him and I said, oh, are you over your ex now? So we scheduled this date. Well, I ended up canceling it. And then we scheduled another date and I ended up canceling it. I didn't know that Alex at that time was dating like they were assignments. I mean, he was like going on a date with a different guy every single night. And so, and he had absolutely no intention of settling down or being in a long-term relationship, and neither did I, right? And so I remember the third time was when we were supposed to go on our date, and that was our anniversary on the 25th. And I called my friend in Denver, and I said, I feel like I should just cancel this date. And he goes, listen. He said, just go on the date. He goes, you've canceled it twice now. He said, just go on the date. Have some fun. He said, the worst case scenario is it doesn't work out, but you meet somebody new and you make a new friend. He goes, best case scenario is it turns into something fun. He was like, you know, maybe you get laid, you know, whatever. Like, or maybe it turns into something. You don't know, right? And I was like, okay, what do I have to lose? And so I remember, like, I literally, like, threw on jeans and, like, this vintage polo shirt. Like, this, I wore this on, like, several dates when we first got together. It was, like, this, oh, no. I wore this, like, country western. I wore this, like, western shirt with, like, pearl buttons on it. This one is not vintage. This is straight up from Target, like, 5 years ago or 3 years ago or something. But anyway, and I remember I just was, like, I had, like, been at the pool all day or something, and I was, like, sunburned, and I, like, just, like, had, like, did my hair, like, real quick. I didn't even think about the date, right? So I go pick up Alex, and he walks by, and he's, like, and I was, like, oh, I'm so fucked. I mean, he looks so cute. Like, and I, like I said, I'd seen him out several times before. We kind of have a funny story, because, like, the week before our date, like, Alex was real drunk at this white party that they had at this bar here in Talbot Street. And I'm, like, standing with my friends, and I see him, like, walking by, and he's, like, I'm like, oh, please don't come up to me. Please don't come up to me. Because I could tell he was, like, drunk. He was with his friends, you know, and stuff. And the white party was always, like, the big closing of summer every year, you know, and stuff in Indianapolis. And, like, for all, like, the gay scene and everything. And so he, like, spotted me, and he, like, beelined it over. There's, like, bugs all around. And he was like, hey, how are you? And I was like, good. And I don't remember if I introduced him to who I was with or not, but I think I was with, like, sober people. And he said, oh, I know I was with sober people, because I can remember, now I know who I was. I was with my 2 girlfriends, one that still lives here and the other one that lives in Oakland. And he looks at me and goes, have you, and I looked down, and he was wearing, like, boxer briefs, like, white boxer briefs, and he had, like, this white, like, button-down collared shirt on or something. And he goes, have you seen my pants? I go, no. He goes, well, I think I put them on coat check, but I'm not sure. And I was like, well, maybe you should check coat check. And he was like, okay. And then he, like, started walking away, and then he, like, turned around, and he came back, and he, like, licked my cheek, and he goes, I can't wait for our date this week. I was like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. So anyway, we go on this date, right? And I was like, where do you want to go? And he was like, I don't really care. Let's just somewhere for dinner. And I was like, you pick. Like, I had no investment in this date whatsoever, right? But I was kind of like, he's a lot cuter than I remember him. Like, you know, I mean, in a bar late at night, it's one thing. But when you see somebody in the full light of day, right? And they're still cute, it's like, okay. So I was like, where do you want to go? And he's like, I was like, what are you hungry for? And he's like, I'm really kind of hungry for Italian. And I was like, okay. So I was like, well, let's do Bravo, which is just like this chain restaurant since closed down in Indianapolis. But we used to go there on dates quite a bit. And so we went to Bravo and for our date. And I can remember, how was mocktails and cocktails? How many people showed up? Next time. I thought it, like, went later. Yeah. I'm glad you guys had a good time. I'll be up there next time. I promise. But, like, you know, I had kind of led by this rule that, like, I knew within the first 5 minutes of being on a date. I don't know why I'm, like, getting all comfortable and sitting in this chair and stuff, but I knew within, I feel like I'm just, like, talking to one person right now. This feels so weird, just, like, telling a story. I don't feel like I've told it. We used to tell this all the time in Q&As, but I haven't told the story in a long time. But I used to, like, kind of live, like I said, like, I live by this rule that, like, I can tell you within 5 minutes of sitting down with somebody. Like, this is a total waste of my time. I don't want to be with this person. Like, and I was also, like, I didn't want to be in a relationship, but I also didn't want to waste my time. I didn't want to be, like, on a date with I'm not a good dater. I'll just tell you guys that right now. Like, I'm not somebody that can date 3 people at the same time. I mean, I have girlfriends of mine, they'll be like, well, Friday night I'm going out with so-and-so, but, like, Sunday I'm going out with so-and-so. I'm not really sure which one I like better. I can't do that. I cannot do that. Like, I have to be focused on one person, and if I don't like them, then there's no reason for a second and third date. Like, it doesn't take me a long time to figure that shit out. Like, I know right away, right? Like, you're either wasting your time, or you need to continue to invest your time in this person. Like, I know that right away. And so I didn't really want to be in a long-term relationship, but I also didn't want to just waste my time going on a couple dates with some guy that I thought was cute. But, like, we were sitting at dinner, and I'll never forget this because, like, Alex still says the same thing, too. Like, the conversation was so effortless. I mean, you have 2 people that are completely opposite in completely every single way possible, right? And the conversation was, And they say opposites attract. I don't know how true that is, but I think one of the things that works for us is that our long-term goals are very similar, and we want the same things for our lives, you know? And we see each other as partners, and leaning on each other, you know, all that kind of stuff. And even though we've had really, really tough times, like, the deep love for each other has never gone away. But I can just remember that whole dinner, and he even said it later, like, you know, I think we were talking about it months later, and he said it. It was like, it was the most effortless conversation that I had ever had on a date, like, period, in the story, in my entire dating career. It was like, it went so easy, and we were just like I was sharing stuff with him that I had never shared with anybody on a date before, and he was sharing stuff with me, and we ended up getting coffee afterwards, because I got Starbucks or something, but anyway, it just was a fantastic date. It was like a fantastic date, and he had a date the next night with somebody else, and he canceled it to hang out with me. And he had a date the night after that with somebody else, and he canceled that to be with me, and we're still together, you know? And I have to say, it's so interesting because we met so many people that summer. Like, we started dating in August, so I'd say that whole, like, next 6 months all the way through that next summer. We met so many people here in Indianapolis that we became friends with. Mostly heterosexual people that became couples. And literally, like, out of that whole group, like, I mean, this was before we met Melissa and Jason and all of them. There's, like, one couple that we're friends with. They got engaged the day after our wedding in they were at our wedding. They got engaged the day after our wedding, and they got married the year later, and we were at their wedding. Did we do readings? I feel like we did readings at their wedding, and they're still together. But other than that, like, every couple that we knew that we hung out with that time that met in that 6 to 8 month period, like, they're all divorced now, or never got married to begin with, but most of them got married, had kids, and are divorced. I never, in a million years, I never would have thought that Alex and I would be the couple that made it. Hey, how are you?
Hi.
Was it fun?
How are you?
Good, was it fun?
Yeah, I met a couple of people I hadn't met before.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
It sounds like it's starting to rain. Is it starting to rain?
it's spitting rain.
Yeah, I hear it.
Did that. Been doing that for a while.
Good nap weather, right?
Yeah.
I never ever, I mean, this was not the relationship that I would have fought for. This is not the relationship that I wanted. This was not the relationship. I don't mean today. Like, today it absolutely 100% is. But at that time, like, if you had me, like, script the perfect relationship, like, nothing about us, like, would have been on that paper. And it's so crazy to me that, and no, we haven't had an easy road. Like, we fought really hard for our relationship, you know, but, like, we're still together, and it's just, like, crazy to me. I'm like, I can't believe that out of all those people, it's, like, one other couple and us, you know, which we were, like, we're not as close with them. I mean, we still see them from time to time. I mean, they're still dear friends of ours, but, like, we were super close with them back then, you know, and it's so funny because she and I are very similar. Like, she doesn't go out a lot, and, you know, whatever, and, like, he was, like, in the business of going out. Like, he was, like, a promoter and things like that. He does something completely different now, but, and so it was real interesting. Alex knew her from college, so they both were in Bloomington together at IU, and, I don't know, the whole thing is just, like, it's crazy to me that when I look back on that, you know, 15 years later, that we're, like, one of, I mean, I literally, we know couples that have, like, were with people, broke up, with other people, broke up, with other, I mean, we know people that have been together and broken up 3 and 4 times in the time that we've been together. It's just, it's crazy, and it makes me sad because I miss them as couples together and stuff like that too, but it also is, like, we have, like, made it through a lot and weathered the storm for a very, very long time, you know, and, I think that's also the thing that, like, you never know where you're gonna find it, you know what I mean? Like, I never thought Alex would be, like, I mean, when I met him, like, even just seeing him out at the bar or whatever, like, I thought he had kind eyes. I said that to him in the message that I sent him. I thought he was a cute guy, but, like, I never thought, I don't even know what I thought at the time. I thought just let's go out on a couple dates and see what happens. I never thought it would turn into anything long term, and he definitely didn't, because he wasn't looking for it, you know. And he had to kind of be convinced of that a little bit, that I was the catch of the century, which he figured out pretty. No, he didn't figure that out. But yeah, it's been crazy. I mean, that first 6 months we were pretty inseparable, like literally every day. I mean, we were a one-car family, so I would drive him to work, pick him up, and then we would go work out, and then we would go to dinner, and then we would come home. And on the nights that we would go out, which we went out a lot, we went out like, I mean, literally like Wednesday through Sunday. Every night there was something different to do in Indianapolis. It was like Wednesday nights were like drag shows, Thursday nights was like salsa night, and we would meet up with some of his girlfriends at salsa night, or his cousin, and then we would either go out to Broad Ripple to like the college bars, or we would go, well, college bars, but I mean like everybody of every age goes. But this guy that I went to high school with, he and his wife, who we were really good friends with his wife, they're since divorced, they owned a bar in Broad Ripple that's like kind of a college-y bar, so we would go there and hang out with them. Alex's cousin danced at that bar, because they had like dancers. We were really good friends. Not that it matters, because I've had friends of mine that were strippers, but not strippers, but just dancers that would dance on boxes, you know, and stuff. And then another girl that danced there, Alex was really good friends with, her and her boyfriend, that they are married and now have a son. We actually saw her at a wedding a couple years ago. Her husband didn't come. Her husband owns a contracting company. He was actually the guy that did all the flooring in our house and stuff like that. They're a really nice couple. They're still together. That's another couple that's still together that met, like they met at the same time that we did. Really, really neat couple. But they live out in the middle of nowhere, and they never go out or anything anymore. I mean, not that I do, because I don't. And then Fridays. Okay, the battery died. I didn't even see it flashing or anything, so I had to go inside and get another battery. Just as I was coming outside, I said to Alex, he's watching this show, that he's like, I'm almost done with it. And I said, what are you going to watch afterwards? He's like, I don't know. He's been watching this show. It's like he's on like the last season. I think it's like 5 or 6 seasons. And he went like this. He goes, you look really cute today. I go, thank you. My little flannel on and everything. But anyway, our server at Patachou, that's also our friend, she texted me and she was like, after we left there, and she was like, you looked so cute today. She's like, you always look so handsome, but you look, I was like, thank you so much. It made my day. But anyway, I don't really remember what we did on Friday nights, but then Saturday nights we would go out with Alex's, mostly his 2 friends, that he was really good friends with before I met Alex. One lives in Denver now, one still lives here. Not my friend that lived in Denver, but another friend of ours that moved to Denver. He's engaged now to somebody that that went to IU with Alex, that dated somebody else, and they broke up, and then he moved to Denver. And it's so funny because he and our friend, they're now engaged. They got engaged in Curacao last year. And they, like, our friend has a picture of them at, like, a house party. Like, this was way before I met, like, Alex and all that. But, like, they're in the same picture together. Like, they knew each other back in the day, kind of. Like, indirectly through people, but just, like, to say hi and stuff like that. What do the kids call that? Associates or something? Acquaintances is what we call it when you're older, when you're elderly. When you're older. So, anyway, I love being older, but so they like are in the same picture, and he thinks that's so funny that like they were in the same picture at the same party and all this kind of stuff. And all these years later, they end up in Denver, you know, and then they meet out, and now they're engaged together. They're the neatest couple, and they deserve each other. They're just such sweet guys, both of them. But we used to go out with them, and then we started hanging out with our friend that ended up marrying us. That was Miss Indiana, and we actually met her because she was waiting tables at Cheesecake Factory. That's how we met her, and she was our first friend that we made together as a couple. That like the first person that we, like, she was one of the, like, we went on, it was like I don't know, maybe one of our very first dates, like 3rd or 4th date. She was our server, and she hated it there. She was like such a mess as a server at Cheesecake Factory, and she ended up like sitting down and talking to us. We became like really good friends like instantly. And so we started going out with her a lot, going out to eat. She'd stay over at her house and stuff. I just talked to her the other day. She's like one of my dearest friends. I love her so much. And so when we got married, we decided to ask her to officiate our wedding because we wanted, like, the person that had known us the longest as a couple to officiate our wedding, so that's why we picked her. But anyway, so we started going out with her, and then she had a really good friend of hers that was gay, and he had just started dating somebody. So they've been together as long as us, too. Yeah, because they just bought their second house, and they're really nice guys. Oh my God, we used to have so much fun with them. We would go to, like, drive down to Louisville and stuff. They're a really neat couple, and just very, like, traditional, like, couple values, like us and stuff like that. And so yeah, this is gonna kind of have, like, a weird comment, but, like, I don't judge anybody. I really don't. Like, do you, whatever you want to do in a relationship. But, and I'm not gonna say I haven't done some things when I was single. I'll just say that, right? But I mean, we're very traditional, okay? And I'm just gonna lay it out here. We're all adults here, and this is an adult channel. I mean, we're not into the three ways. We're not in an open relationship or anything like that, right? And I cannot tell you how many gay couples that we meet, and they're very nice and they're very friendly, especially if we meet them, like, out of town, and they're, like, super friendly to us and stuff. And then, like, within, like, the first 20 minutes of talking to them, you know, you get, like, real friendly. Oh, where are you from? Oh, we're from Indianapolis. Oh, we're from here. You know, we're from Georgia, or blah blah blah, whatever. Oh, it's like, have you guys been here before? Like, oh, it's so nice to meet you, blah blah blah, whatever. Like, you know, we don't meet gay couples very often or whatever, because we typically don't go to places where there's, like, tons of gay couples, you know. Within, like, 20 minutes of meeting another couple, like, instantly, one of them will say to one of us, so we're open, are you? And we're like, no. And then it's like, all of a sudden, it's like, so are we, what do we do with that? Like, are you wanting to be our friend, or are you wanting to get in our pants? And, hey, I'm glad that works for you, but, like, that's not what we do. And so now where do we go with this? Like, now I don't understand, like, if you've ever been in that situation, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's very awkward, right? It's kind of like, now what do we do with this? Like, I guess, you know, for heterosexual people, it's probably like if you've ever been approached by swingers. And I've had friends of mine that have been approached by swingers as couples or as singles, and they're like, I don't really know what to do with this information. You know, thanks for, I'm flattered, but, like, that's not what we're about, you know? And so I've had friends of mine that have been in open relationships, and it has torn them apart. I've had friends of mine that have been in open relationships, and they still are, and it works for them, gay and straight. I'm not the kind of person that could be in an open relationship. I wouldn't say I'm, like, insanely jealous, but I'm into monogamy, and I want to have that one connection with my husband, and I don't know that I could separate, like, if he was going off and I knew about it, like, screwing, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know that I could do that in my head. But like I said, like, I don't judge people. Do what you do. I don't know how you make that work. I don't know how you decide on those rules. I don't even know, like, I mean, I've, like, had friends of mine before, I know, like I said, heterosexual and gay friends of mine that are in relationships, and some of these relationships didn't make it. And later, after they would break up, one partner would say, yeah, I wasn't okay with the open relationship, but I just went with it to save a relationship. I'm not about all that. Like, if Alex came to me tomorrow and said after 15 years, I mean, I don't think that's going to happen, but if he came to me tomorrow and said, like, that's what he wanted, I'd say, well, I think we need to break up then, because that's not what I want. I'd rather be single, and you go do you. Like, if this is what you want, then you go do you, right? And, I think part of the problem is, like, okay, just to lay it all out on the line, like, when we were really having, like, really bad marital problems, and we went into therapy, I think that's a conversation, maybe more gay couples than heterosexual couples, but maybe I shouldn't assume that. I don't know, but I just feel like it's more of kind of a gay thing. That a lot of gay couples, when they're, you know, the intimacy is dying and they're not getting along and they're arguing a lot, that a way to save the relationship is they decide to, and like I said, I don't judge this, you know, it's go do what you want to do if that works for your relationship. And like I said, I've seen it work for some people and not for others, so I don't know, you know. But I think the go-to is like, well, how can we save this and everybody get what they need? And so, and I know a lot of couples that go into relationships as open relationships. So that's, you know, whatever. But I'm just talking about, like, I know a lot of people that, and I would say I know a lot, like, that's not an exaggeration. I know quite a few couples, a lot of couples that, like, things get tough and, like, the sex is not happening anymore and whatever, and then they decide to have an open relationship because they think, well, that will fix this. I don't know. For me, like, I remember when we first got marriage counseling, this is what I was going to say, let's just lay it out on the table. Like, we had that conversation. Like, you know, I think that was my fear. And I said to Alex, I said, like, are you thinking we need to go the route of an open relationship? And he was like, no, not at all. And he said it first. He was like, I mean, I wasn't wanting it because that's not a relationship I could be in because I know myself. And like I said, I don't judge anybody that's in that, but I wouldn't be in that relationship. That's just who I am. And I remember he said, because so many people out there have said to us, like, online and whatever, they're in an open relationship. No, we're not, okay? And I don't judge it, but we're not. And so, I mean, and I don't know. I think people can have communication problems or lose their voice in a marriage or all this kind of stuff, but then people always have to, like there has to be something, like, so deep-seated. Or maybe it was just we drifted apart, you know? Maybe I was so scared of becoming my husband's roommate like I did with my ex, and I was so terrified of that happening. He was so terrified of that happening. The only out to that we could see was getting divorced, you know? But we had that conversation early on the first time that we went to marriage counseling, and I remember I said to him, is that what you're thinking that you want? And he was like, absolutely not. He was like, and if that's what you want, I don't want to be in this relationship anymore, then we need to just be single, because I'd rather be single and do my own thing than be in a relationship and have you go off with somebody else and I know about it. And I was like, yeah, that's not what I want either. I mean, we cleared that up very quickly. It's just so weird. I never thought I would ever talk about this tonight on this video. Like, this is not, I mean, I don't have a problem talking about it, but it's not what I thought I would talk about. But, like, I've had friends of mine that I'll be, like, talking to on the phone, and I'll be like, so, you know, like, where's Steve tonight? Where's Dawn? You know, they're like, oh, on a date? What are you doing? I'm just sitting here watching TV tonight. I'm like, what? Like, I mean, that literally to me is roommates. Like, I don't understand. Why are you even together in a romantic relationship at that point? Like, I don't get it. You know, and like I said, it works for some people. I know people that have been in open relationships from day one and have been together for 20 plus years, and it works for them, gay and straight. Not many. I think we know one straight couple that's been together for a very long time, and they have 3 ways, and they do all kinds of stuff, and open relationship and the whole 9 yards, right? And then for some reason it works. And they're very intimate. I'm going to just say that. They're very intimate on their own as well. I don't know. They just, listen, they just must need a lot of sexy time, I guess, you know? And then I know probably, I don't know, maybe like 2 gay couples that have been together for like 5, 20 years. 3 gay couples that have been together about 5 or 20 years that are in an open relationship, and it works for them. It seems to work for them. And that each one has defined their own rules. I know, like, tons of heterosexual couples that are in traditional marriages that have their ups and downs and have problems and things like that and work through it. And all kinds of horrific problems, but they work through it, right? I think working through sometimes the horrific problems just makes relationships stronger. I really do, you know? And in all honesty, I know quite a few gay couples and lesbian couples, and definitely lesbian couples. I know a lot of lesbian couples that have been together for a long time, 10, 20 years. And, you know, and now, you know, I know a lot of couples, gay and lesbian couples that are adopting kids, and, you know, they've been together for 10 to 20 years, and are in, you know, very monogamous relationships. So I think it just depends on the person, I guess. I just don't understand it, you know? What is this whole conversation about? Peter, you need less Fear the Walking Dead in your life and more cozy mysteries, I think, is the problem. You need to get back to the cozy mysteries, okay? I also think, too, like this one couple that I know, And they don't live here. I mean, I don't think anybody would know who I was talking about, so it's whatever. But like, I mean, because we're not that friendly with, we're not that close with them anymore. But they've been in an open relationship since day one, and they've been together forever. And they're like older than me, both of them. And I mean, like close to 60. And they're very good-looking men and work out and all this kind of stuff, right? But like, they go and do their things a lot, right? Like, I'm 51 years old. Do you know what I mean? Like, I am so in love with my husband, and I think my husband is real sexy. But in all honesty, like, sometimes I just want to put on my pajamas and watch TV. Like, that takes a lot of work, okay? To be going out on dates at 55, 60 years old with people you don't even know when you got a husband at home. Why? Like, I don't know. Why? What is going on that you need all of that? Like, that's a lot of work. I don't have that kind of energy today. I just don't. You know what I mean? Like, I just do not have that kind of energy. I mean, in all honesty, my husband right now is sitting inside in a blue, I mean, like, this is literally what I walked inside to, okay? He's got all of his food laid out. Boo Radley's sitting right next to him, and he is sitting in a blue tie-dye Snuggie that his friend got him because he's obsessed with those Snuggies, okay? Like, this is not the most romantical of evenings gonna be, okay? We just know that already, like, you know? And it's like, and I think you get to this point where you're like, okay, there's days for sexy time and there's not. And it's like, and that's fine. You know, you don't have to be doing it 24 hours a day. I love when I like meet couples, or like when I have like friends of mine, it's always like my girlfriends, right? Like, and they're like, oh yeah, like we still have sex like twice a day, 7 days a week. I'm like, okay, you're my age. It's not happening. Quit bullshitting. Okay, you're not. Nobody our age is doing that. Okay, not when you have 4 kids and you have to put dinner on the table. You still are doing it 2 times. When are you doing it, girl? Like, seriously? Like, are you meeting him at work and doing it in his office and then in the closet before you go to bed? I mean, it's not. That's not true. Like, and why are you trying? And it's always like at a dinner or a lunch, and they're like, we're all talking about like, you know, like giving different ways to like keep passion alive in a relationship, and they're always the first one. They'll be like, well, we don't have that problem because we still have sex twice a day, sometimes 3 times on the weekend. And I'm like, you're such a fucking why? Like, why are you even saying it? Okay, no, that's not true. I mean, we might have when we first got together for like the first 6 months or a year, and that was a lot to keep up with, okay? And I was 36 at the time, all right? Like, there's no way today. Number one, I don't think I could keep up with it. Number two, I don't even want to. Like, that's just the God honest truth, you know what I mean? Get a good couples massage going every day. You know, I do, and I'm not talking about them sexy, happy ending massages, okay? This is the weirdest vlog ever. I'm talking about just a good old-fashioned couples massage at a nice spa with candles and some music in the background. You know what I'm talking about? I'm talking about a good dinner date. I'm talking about cuddling, you know, together and kissing each other and stuff like that. I think that's one of the things that has like really saved our marriage a lot. Is like, I was saying this to somebody the other day and they're like, you guys really still do that? I'm like, yeah, don't you? Like, we still make out. Like, you know, like, I love kissing my husband, you know, and they're like, do you really still make? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, do you? And they're like, no. Like, they're like, we're intimate. Like, you know, we have sex, but no, we don't ever, like, I mean, unless we're doing that, we don't make out. I'm like, at all? Like, we're just laying in bed and stuff? And they're like, no. I think physical intimacy can come in so many kinds of ways, you know, just like, you know, Alex, like, putting his hand on my thigh, like, when we're, like, going somewhere and just, like, you know, holding my thigh, or, like, you know, us just, like, cuddling in bed. And neither one of us are big cuddlers. True story. Like, we can cuddle for about 5 or 10 minutes, and it's like, let's go to separate sides of our bed and go to sleep at night. But, like, even that is nice, you know, just, like, that physical connection between each other. We always have a little bit of that every night, and it doesn't have to be sexual, you know. It can be holding hands. It can be while you're sitting there watching a show in bed. I mean, he and I do that a lot, like, when I'm, like, laying down and he's watching a show upstairs, or, you know, it just, I don't know, it doesn't have to be, like, this, I don't know, I just think, and you have to work for it, you know, like, I think this is the other thing, too, like, I loved my ex, and I honestly thought that we would be together for the rest of my life, but there became a point where, like, and he was an attractive guy, but there was times that I would look at him and I would be like I'm literally, like, I would think to myself, I have no ounce of physical attraction towards him whatsoever. At all. And it made me sad because I still loved him and I cared about him. You know when people say, like, I love you, but I'm not in love with you? Like, I mean, like, the really sad statement about it is that that's truly how I felt, like, the last year of our relationship together. And it makes me sad, because he was such a great guy, you know? And that's why I think, like, I always said, like, not that I regret it ending because I'm so happy with Alex, but I think that if we had gone to couples counseling, he and I, like 3 years before we were over, I think we would still be together. I think it would have been we could have worked through it. I'm such an advocate for couples counseling now, and I don't even know, like, I think one of us might have brought it up a couple times, like, I might have brought it up and he might have brought it up, but we never, like, there was never any follow through, we never found anybody or whatever, right? But, like, even when Alex and I were, like, going through, like, the hardest times and I was the most pissed off at him, like, I'd look at him and I'd still be like, God, he's so good looking, you know, like, and he just makes me, like, still gives me butterflies. And not just because he's good looking, but just, like, who he is still gives me butterflies. In my past 2 relationships, like, that had kind of gone away, especially in my, like, first one, you know. I was young, though. That relationship was a lot about having fun, and we traveled a lot with my dad and my stepmom, and we had a good time together. But, I mean, I don't know that I would have ever, in that relationship, I mean, every relationship I was in, I don't care if I was with somebody for 2 weeks, I thought we were together for life. But definitely my last one. I mean, we talked about settling down, buying a house, and all that kind of stuff together, and it just never happened, you know. I learned so much from my past relationships, but I think it's being open to the mistakes that you made in those relationships and not repeating them again. It's not about necessarily always carrying baggage into your relationship. It's maybe carrying lessons too. And Alex and I have talked a lot about, why do I have one shoulder that's real like up high like this? Now, Alex and I have talked a lot about that, you know. It's like we learned so much. Well, he was only in one relationship before me, but it was like a 4 or 5 year relationship. And, you know, with somebody that he went to school and college with, and they worked together and stuff, and a restaurant in Bloomington, and you can, and we did bring baggage into our relationship. I think when we turned that baggage into lessons and applied those lessons to our relationship and stopped repeating those same patterns of what we had done before, you know, and so I think sometimes, like, we punish our current partner for our past partner's mistakes or how we felt in that past relationship, you know? Have you ever done that? Like, I did that and didn't even realize I was doing it. Like, that's not fair and that's not healthy, right? So, anyway. So, Carol, okay, let's get off all that. Caroline, that half an hour tangent about marriage and open relationships and sexy time. Cheers to all that, right? You guys are like, what did I walk into tonight? If anybody enjoyed that whole conversation and that tangent, put it in the comment section below. Well, I guess it was a little bit different than just a press conference in my day, right? So Caroline picked me up at noon today. I was under the assumption that we were at least going to go to my grandmother's grave because it's here in Indianapolis. I didn't know if we were going to go out of town to my grandfather's grave, but Caroline had said, take Wednesday off, you're not going to work because we're going to go do this. So I got in the car, and I had some errands to run. I said, can we run these errands? I said, are you hungry? And she said, yeah. And I said, can we run these errands, and then we can go do this? Like, then we can go to Grandma's grave, and then we can go to our grandfather's grave. She goes, we're not doing that today. And I go, what are you talking about? And she said, well, you said that if we were going to do that, we would have to do that early. And I said, it is early, girl. It's noon, okay? Like, that's early for me, right? And she goes, it is not early. She goes, 9 is early. And I go, okay, well, you should have said that then when you asked me what time is good. Like, she says, well, I have a dinner. I have dinner with girlfriends tonight. I have to be there at 4:45. I go, oh, so your dinner with your girlfriends is more important. I said, this is becoming a problem, Caroline. I didn't care. In fact, I was so tired today that I just was like, I hope that we're just going to, like, go have brunch. I was so hungry, too. I was like, I hope that we're just going to go have brunch and run errands and stuff like that. So we did. And we decided that we're going to do it. She's got a lot of stuff going on next week, so she's not sure she can pick me up next week. I literally have 4 bottles of coffee in the refrigerator, so I didn't need to go to Fresh Time today and buy any coffee. But we went to the post office. I bought it, or picked up all my packages at the post office, so I have everything picked up. I'm going to do an unboxing on my Peter Does Stuff channel on Friday. And then from there, we went to... You know what? I wanted to get some Red Bulls today, and I didn't do that. Maybe I'll get online and order some. And then, I don't know why I just thought cotton candy, like energy drinks, sound good. Why is the most random thoughts just come into my head? Get those from Amazon Fresh. They'll be here in the morning, right? Those will rot your teeth out. This Uber driver the other day, he was so nice. He like literally works, he was telling me he works like 8 to 10 hours a day, and then he gets in a car and he Uber drives on like the weeks that he doesn't have his kids. I was like, those are like 18 to 20 hour days. He's like, yeah. He's like, and that's what I love to do, and that's what I have to do. And I was like, okay. I go, how do you keep going? And he holds up this drink, and it's like a rock star. Oh, it was a Monster, and it was like some, you know, some weird flavor, like cotton candy, you know? Like, I know you guys are like, that's not really a weird... It is kind of when you think about an energy drink that tastes like cotton candy, but it sounds kind of good right now, in all honesty, or bubble gum or something like that, you know? Candy apple. What was that, on that movie, Joyride? I love that movie so much. When he goes, what was the thing that he would say? Candy cane. Do you remember that? Oh my God, I love that so much. So anyway, then... Caroline was like, she was like, do you need to go to the grocery store? And I was like, yeah, I'd like to get some pumpkin spice stuff, but I don't want to go to Fresh Time because, well, I was like, my neighbor across the street, she was like telling me about some stuff, and I said, so we can maybe go to Fresh Time, but I don't really need to get anything from there. She was like, okay. She was like, well, do you want to go? She was like, I need to get some things from Target. And I was like, I don't love Target, but it's whatever, right? And so we went to Target, and I went to Starbucks when I went in there to show the fall cups. The one fall cup that I want, which is the green one, which has like the dripping the dripping goo down the side, they didn't have that cup. So I did a Starbucks like shopping cup, show the cups I bought and all that kind of stuff while I was at the Starbucks that's in Target. I did that. And then I shopped and I bought a bunch of stuff, showed everything in my haul video today on my Peter Does Stuff channel that I bought. And then, where did we go after that? Then we went to Cafe Patachou and had brunch. And we sat outside because Caroline wanted to sit outside, but it was really nice. And my friend was our server, which was really fun. And Caroline loves her too, so we got to talk. Actually, one of Caroline's really, really good friends was her boyfriend, and was our server's boyfriend in high school because we're all like the same age. She's like my age, and her boyfriend was a little bit older. So anyway, her boyfriend was Caroline's. I think her boyfriend was like a year younger than Caroline. No, he was the same age as me, but he's friends with Caroline now. So anyway, because I went to school with him, because she asked me, I was like, I don't know who that is. I don't remember him from school at all. So anyway, and then after that, Caroline wanted to go to Sephora, so we went to Sephora. We walked all over the mall. She had me walking all over the mall, and I ended up going to Abercrombie. We went to Tommy Bahama. I was like, this store is so boring, Caroline. She's like, well, I'm looking for a dress for a wedding. We went to Banana Republic for her to look for a dress for a wedding. We went to Nordstrom because she wanted to buy those Velo shoes or Velo shoes. I kind of like them. I think they're cute. I've been looking at them for a while. So she bought those. I bought a Gorham Brothers hat while I was at Nordstrom. Then we walked all the way back. Then she wanted to look at the iPad that I got at the Apple store. I said, if there's a hell on earth, it is the Apple store in the middle of the afternoon. I can't do this. And she was like, oh, come on, let's just go. So we went and looked at them. Then we walked back, and I can't remember where else we went. One place, oh, we went to this purse store. That was really cool. And I got she gave me a lot of ideas for Christmas presents this year. And then we came home. So it was a really good day. And so yeah, good day. We had a good day. It was fun. But I'm tired now, and I'm gonna go inside and figure out something for dinner. If I get hungry. I'm not even really that hungry yet. And then I'm gonna watch Big Brother tonight. Oh, also the next episode of Invasion came out at midnight last night, so I'm gonna watch that today. And then Fear the Walking Dead if I can stay up, and hopefully listen to a little bit of my audiobook. I don't have any reason to get up early tomorrow, so I can sleep in until early afternoon if I want to, and I can stay up very late tonight. So I may lay down now for like 2 hours and then get up and just start watching my shows and all that kind of stuff. Somebody's coming down the street. So anyway, who is this? I can see them in the window, but I can't hear them. This guy just said, this is nice in here. I like it in here. I like it in here too. Anyway, I hope that you guys are having a magically amazing Wednesday. You made it halfway through the week. Congratulations. And if nobody else has told you this today, I love you. And remember how I said yesterday that I was going to some days, not always, but some days I was just going to end the vlog and just wasn't going to do my whole outro? I didn't even read the comments to see what you guys thought about that. I need to read the comments. But anyway, I think tonight is going to be one of those nights because I'm tired. And just know this. Know I love you. Reach out to somebody. Let them know that you love them. Treat each other kinder. Treat yourself kinder because you deserve it. And you deserve it most of all. And if you treat yourself better, then you'll treat others better as well. If you love yourself more, you'll love others as well. And don't ever forget that I love you. And thank you for watching this vlog. It means a lot to me. And thanks for hanging out with me on the front porch. And I will see you here tomorrow. Same time, same place. Tonight, Pepsi. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Love you.